Okay, my friend, thank you for tuning in to Win Your Days today. Win Your Days is a movement of men rising up to win in life, love, and business. And I never want you to forget that you are an athlete in the great game of life. As a matter of fact, the biggest stadium you'll ever play in as a man is the stadium of your own life, and every day is game day. Now, I'm super excited to bring this interview to you as I was recently able to reconnect with my old high school football coach, Joey Wiles. And we were in his home talking about life, talking about sports. Coach Wiles has spent 3 decades coaching high school football. I had the opportunity, the privilege, the honor of playing for him in his early coaching career at Melbourne High School. But Coach Wiles has spent 2 decades coaching for St. Augustine High School, where he won a state championship. He was two-time runner-up to state championship. He went to the playoffs 17 consecutive years, and he's amassed 198 wins in 20 years at St. Augustine High School. Incredible career. The list of accolades goes on and on, so I can spend the whole time sharing those accolades with you, but those are some of the highlights. Coach Wiles currently works for Flagler College in the athletic department there, and again, had an opportunity to visit him in his home and talk about life and football. Grab something to write with, grab something to write on. You're going to want to take down some of these key takeaways. Let's get started.
So, Coach, when you and I were talking last night, we were talking about the old times a little bit. You never get tired of talking about the old times.
Nope.
You know, those are fun. And your time at St. Augustine High School as the head football coach, one of the biggest rivals that you guys faced was Nice High School. And there was a time when Tim Tebow was coming through there, and he was kind of, everybody had their eyes on Tim, and he was a big name. And but you were determined as the head coach of St. Augustine High School to stop him. Can you tell how all that happened and what was going through your mind and how things shook out? And you played them 4 times, right?
Yep.
All right. Let us know about that.
So it was really interesting. I saw him play in a spring jamboree, and so they were doing a lot of, they were 5 wide. They were all over the place. He was a tailback playing quarterback. And
was he a freshman at this point?
He was a freshman going to be a sophomore.
Yeah. So he's a freshman playing on varsity.
Well, he was actually at a private school making the move to a public school at that time.
Okay.
So, I saw him play, and I knew that kind of traditional coverage things that were being done at the time, we were going to have a hard time with them. And then him being a runner, on the front end of things, you want to defend against the pass, but then you got a kid. Tim was that big when he was in high school, as big as he is now. So I'm thinking, boy, we're going to have a problem. So Bob Stoops has been a good friend of mine. So I called him and said, Coach, I've got this kid and they're doing all this stuff. Do you have anything that might help us? And he said, get on a plane. So flew out there, and I spent 3 days with him and the defensive coordinator.
So timeout.
Bob
Stoops, right? He's the head coach of Oklahoma.
Yep.
At this point, you guys are friends.
Yep.
How about that? You have a problem in life and you have to phone a friend.
Yeah.
And you got Bob Stoops as your friend that you call.
You know what? He's, I invited him to spend the night at our house one time when he was a DB coach at Kansas State. And from that time forward, he has always helped me. He's that kind of person.
Wow.
Phenomenal man. He's everything that and more that he seems to be.
Wow. So you call Bob Stoops, tell him about this kid that's going to give you some problems probably. He says, hop on a plane and come on out to Oklahoma. Okay. Yep.
So I fly out there, met with Bo Pelini, who was the defensive coordinator at the time, had just come from the 49ers. And he said, hey, we've got this coverage that and everybody plays it now, but we have this coverage that we use. And it's basically 2 read, and it was something people weren't doing at the time. And he said, this could be something you can use. It requires very little adjustment, motions, and empty sets. You could stay in it. You don't have to check out of it. So I learned it, brought it back, and put it in, and it worked well for us, and we ended up going 4-0 against Tim Tebow. So
I love that 4-0 against.
4-0.
Has anybody else done that?
I know in the SEC, I don't think anybody has.
Right.
I mean,
right,
so
right. Yeah.
little St. Augustine High was able to pull that off. But
How about that?
he was he was an amazing player then, an amazing person, and all the great things that he's done since. So
Yeah.
I actually ran into him. Brandon James, one of our players that went on to Florida, was an All-American that played against Tim, and then signed with Florida and played for Tim. Both of them got inducted into the Florida Football Hall of Fame a year ago, and Brandon invited our family to go, so we went there and got pictures with him and Tim, and it was really neat.
Wow, such a cool story. You and I were talking one time about that situation with Tim, and I remember you saying that in the off season there was a basketball game going on. It's a high school basketball game, and I can't remember if it was at St. Augustine High or if it was at St. Augustine High School. You're there, and I guess you guys were playing Nice.
Yes.
And so was Tim playing basketball too?
Tim was playing basketball,
and he recognized you as the football coach and came over and said, "Coach, what are you guys doing out on the field? Because I can't get past you guys."
Yeah, he came over and talked a little bit. We had a small little running back we put at defensive end, Carlos Hamilton, and we just put him in there. They had a big offensive tackle that went to Florida, was an All-American, and we couldn't get any pressure, so we just put this little 140-pound kid that was, he ran 4.4, and we put him there and said, "Hey, we don't care. You can rush outside, inside, however you want." And he gave Tim trouble the whole night. And Tim came over and goes, "Coach, you're not going to put that kid at defensive end again next year." I said, "Absolutely, we are." So, we had a pretty good relationship during that time. But he was, he played basketball, played baseball, hit a home run against St. Aug to win district championship at Nice. So he was all around. He was a tremendous athlete.